Living Landmarks, Episode 3, the Stone-Tolan Historic Site.
Great view from up there.
The Board of Trustees and the staff of the Landmark Society of Western New York are excited for you to see this episode of Living Landmarks. We've been caretakers of this property since 1969, when Ellen Tolan sold it to us rather than developers who wanted to build tall apartment buildings here. It's because of the support of members and our other supporters that we've been able to maintain it all this time, and we're very grateful for that. We'd also like to thank Chris Coretta, who is the sponsor of this episode, as well as Sean Dunwoody, our narrator.
Hey, how are you doing this morning, Cindy?
Sean, I didn't know you were here already.
Well, I've been walking around enjoying this beautiful place.
Oh, I was just thanking you for being the host.
Oh, why, thank you. I've been having a blast. And let me tell you, it's great to see you face to face and in person. And it's been great to actually see all of the Landmark Society properties and how they actually maintain the history and keep the stories alive.
Yes, they are.
Living landmarks.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Why don't we go inside so you can tell me a bit more about this old house?
And tavern.
Okay, you got it.
Let's go.
All right.
Right this way. So Sean, right now we're in the oldest part of the house. It was built in two sections. This part was built in 1792. And it was originally the whole house. This kitchen, the two small rooms, and a sleeping loft up above for Orange and Elizabeth Stone and their 8 children. So many people were traveling through on the way to see that brand new village of Rochesterville that they decided to build the front part of the house in 1805, and it served as a tavern, which was a place for people to stay overnight, for the local residents to gather, to get a drink or a bite to eat. As a matter of fact, in 1814, on April 5th, the town of Brighton had its first town meeting in the Tavern Room. Well, we assume it was inside because it was April and you know what the weather's like around here.
Yeah, it could be a little tricky.
Yeah.
So Cindy, what is it used for now?
Well, we have many school tours and adult tours as well. When the students come here, it's a field study. They're learning about what it takes to form a brand new community and also about community responsibilities in your town and in your family.
That sounds great. And what else happens here?
Oh, we have special events. Tavern Takeover is a really popular one.
So a few years ago, our young urban preservationist group was sitting around a table, and like all good ideas, the idea for a new event at Stone-Tolan was generated just by a casual thought, someone throwing out, hey, you know what we should do? We should use the tavern at Stone-Tolan as a tavern. So from that was born the Tavern Takeovers at Stone-Tolan, where we would open the grounds to the public. They could come and stroll the orchard and then come into the historic house, experience that, and get a beer served out of the historic bar in the Stone-Tolan Historic Tavern. So we had that event for a couple years. It was really successful. People seemed to really connect with it. And from that, we grew that into the Yak Tavern Festival, which we just launched this past year, where we opened up the site to local artisans and food vendors, so folks from the community could come and connect with them, connect with the site. And then the other thing we did was we had reserved seatings inside the historic house. So you could reserve a table in the 18th century kitchen, in the tavern itself, and sit down with your friends and family and drink a local beer or cider and have a little snack in this space that people used as in the early 19th century. So it was really magical for us as the staff to be able to watch people experiencing and using this space just as it was intended to be used over 150 years ago.
This is great, Cindy. You know, I just had a bird's eye view of this property. Really did. And I could see there's a lot more here than just this house. So
Wait, you had what?
I had a bird's eye view. I'll explain it to you later. But
Okay.
there's more to this place than just this house. Tell me more, please.
Oh, of course there is. This path right in front of us leads down to the outbuildings that you would find on an early 19th century farm, such as the privy, the smokehouse, the barn, and other structures.
I was here with some of the Board of Trustees picking apples, and they were delicious. Can you tell me more about that?
The apple orchard is unique. It's 20th century stock with 19th century varieties grafted onto it, and it's supported by the Allens Creek Garden Club.
In 1958, Allens Creek Garden Club began its long-standing relationship with the Stone-Tolan House, when the club provided the funding for the preparation of the field and the planting of the heirloom apple trees in this beautiful orchard. Our club's relationship has continued throughout these years as the club funds the pruning and care for the heirloom apple trees. Our club members are dedicated to the Stone-Tolan house and value the important part it plays in preserving our local heritage.
You know, this is one of my favorite spots on the property, by the well and overlooking the kitchen garden.
You know, this is just beautiful. You know, taking a look at the orchard and the barn that's right behind us, you would barely believe that you were here in Rochester.
That's true. This used to be a 200-acre farm. It extended all the way from here on East Avenue across what Rochesterians know is the Can of Worms Highway and over to Mercy High School. It's down to 4 acres now, but we still have the kitchen garden. And volunteers maintain it and grow period vegetables. This year we had such a crop, we donated over 100 pounds of produce to local food pantries.
Oh, that's an amazing feat. But I do have one question,
Yes.
Cindy. We've been walking around and I have yet to see another soul on this property. So I want to understand, how does the Landmark Society hope to sustain this beautiful property?
Well, that's why we're focusing on special events, new events, especially on the grounds, so that people will come here and fall in love with it the way I did. And we have great partners that we're working with, including Mike Calabrese from Good Luck and Leah Stacy from Rochester Cocktail Revival.
So when we hosted our Rochester Cocktail Revival garden party here, we did this fun thing where we wrote a bunch of riddles, and everybody who checked in got a riddle. Each riddle led them to a cocktail, and we hid them all over the garden, the orchard. There were some hanging in the trees, and they found them, got to drink them, and it was sort of like a tour of the estate as well as a fun little activity.
When we put on the outdoor dinner series, which we did for how many years? I'm trying to think. Probably 8 years. Good Luck Restaurant with local restaurants, chefs helping us. We served 145 people roughly right out here in the apple orchard. It was magical. People would say, wow, I don't even feel like I'm in Rochester. I feel like I'm in Vermont or something. Leah was a big help on it. And it was
So
really, everybody would say the same thing. It was like a magical night.
It's cool that you can be really just outside the city limits, but you're in this beautiful oasis where there's history and there's nature, and you get to just escape for a bit. No matter what you're doing here, whether you're eating dinner, walking around.
Right.
We had a band here playing, and people just sat and soaked up the music, and it's special.
The property is a gem, and when people finally get on it, they only know it from driving by and they see the white picket fence. But once they come onto the property, they're blown away at the beauty and everything about it and the history.
Yeah,
So,
the history is really incredible. I think that's the part that when we do our next event here, I want to tap into even more, because every time I post photos online or share something about an event that we did here, people are like, what is that?
Right. Every time you have an event, whether it's Cocktail Revival or the Good Luck Dinner, the first one sells pretty well. They all sell out, but the next time, because it's such a beautiful piece of property, minutes. No matter what you have in here, it sells out in minutes because people just want to come here and enjoy the property.
Yeah.
Cindy, thank you so very much for this tour. It was amazing. I enjoyed it immensely. It just gave me new ideas of what could actually happen here on this site. Thank you.
My pleasure.
It's always great to be here with you. And now, a word from our sponsor, Chris Coretta.
I'm very excited to be the sponsor of this episode of Living Landmarks because I believe in the Landmark Society. I sit on the Landmark Board of Trustees, as well as the City of Rochester Preservation Board, so I see firsthand how the role Landmark Society plays in Western New York makes it a better place to live and work. As a realtor, I'm excited by the increase in historic districts in Rochester due to the hard work of Landmark staff, and always make my customers aware of the opportunities that go along with that. Joyce and I love the Stone-Tolan, and I look forward to seeing more people experience it in loads of different ways in the future.
And that is a wrap on this episode. But to be honest with you, I really don't want to leave. I think I'm going to call my wife and invite her down so that we can take a stroll through the orchard. And maybe we'll do a picnic lunch. That's it. thank you for joining us, and I will see you soon.